What's up, everybody? And welcome to The End Zone, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment. And this is your football show by guys that love football. And it's, as always, your host. It's your boy, Craig, here with my co-host.
Your boy, Ace.
And we up in here looking extra professional today. We got our mics, we got our headphones. The show is just taking it to another level. And we are glad to have you with us as we jump to this next stage in the progression of our show. And as always, we start the show off with the injury report. A non-injury news, something I'm so mad to even spend even a half a second talking about. Josh Gordon, he didn't disappoint. He's officially suspended indefinitely for violating the NFL's anti-doping policy. Also, I think he was also using PEDs. So the dude just Josh Gordon being Josh Gordon. This probably will be the last time we're saying Josh Gordon's name because he's most likely not going to get to play in the NFL again. Chris Godwin, oh my God. First Mike Evans goes out for the season with a hamstring injury. Now Chris Godwin, they're saying he might not play the rest of the season. Granted, what is that, 2 games? You're not making the playoffs, but he's a hell of a wide receiver, and he was on my fantasy team, so I don't get him this week.
Sad deal.
Yeah, sad deal. Granted, I'm not even in the playoffs. It's just a consolation round, but it is what it is.
So why do you care if it's consolation?
You know, I mean, you just want to win, win as many games as possible. Kareem Jackson suspended also for violating the anti-doping policy. This isn't really an injury, but we didn't have a slot for it in the rest of the show. But crazy news is that Terrell Suggs waived by the Arizona Cardinals. Like, you waived Terrell Suggs? What?
He's old, though, so it's like when you think of Terrell Suggs, you got to think of him at his older age, not the animal in the younger days.
This is true, but not this past week, but the week before that, he did have a big defensive stop that really helped the Cardinals out. But he did get immediately picked up by the Kansas City Chiefs first team to be able to nab him up. There were 3 other teams interested, one of those teams being Baltimore if he went to free agency. Frank Clark is diagnosed with an illness. He might not play for Kansas City. Jared Goff is dealing with a bruised hand. Alec Okafor has a torn bicep. And Raekwon McMillan has been sent to injured reserve. Also, this just in, the Redskins sent 3 players to injured reserve. Guard Brandon Sheriff, cornerback Jimmy Moreland, and wide receiver Terry Quinn. And just so we can make sure, Swift denies NFL report that DeAndre Swift refutes news that he was leaving Georgia for the NFL draft. So that just happened just now. That be your injury report. On to Ace for the recap.
So this week was a good week, man. Crazy games happen. A lot of crazy things happen in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna start off with the Ravens 42, Jets 21. Obviously, the MVP, Lamar Jackson, 15 of 25, 212 yards, 5 TDs, 0 interceptions.
0.
This dude's just making the game look so easy.
It's crazy, man.
I don't know what to say.
He made a deal with the devil.
Yeah, for sure.
To be playing this well.
Yeah. Seattle 30, Carolina 24. I'm going with Carson, the running back. Mm-hmm. He had 24 attempts, 133 yards, 2 TDs. And my co-MVP is Lockett. He had 8 receptions, 120 yards, and a touchdown.
Lockett can kiss me on where the sun don't shine because the first week I don't play him is the first week he has a great game. He had like 3 consecutive crappy games.
Yeah.
Even though it was inconsequential that I didn't play him, I'm still mad that he decided to perform.
KC 23, Denver 3. Mahomes going for MVP, 27 of 34, 340 yards. 2 TDs, 1 into, and then the co-MVP is Travis Kelce. He had 4 receptions, 142 yards, and 0 TDs. I wish he had more touchdowns to go with the stats that he had, but that's a great game.
Seriously.
Tampa Bay 38, Detroit 17. Winston is my MVP of that game. He was 28 of 42, 458 yards, 4 TDs, 1 INT.
Leading the league in passing yards and interceptions. Yeah. Like, the dude is like killing it and getting killed at the same time.
Next up, Houston 24, Tennessee 21. Hyde, he had 26 attempts, 104 yards, and a touchdown. And my guy D Hop, 6 receptions, 119 yards, but he didn't score. I wish he scored too.
How about our boy Ryan Tannehill with the walk-in TD, man? That was awesome.
Pats 34. Who the Pats play?
Pats played Cincinnati.
Bengals. Yeah. Pats 34, Bengals 13. Brady will be the MVP, 15 to 29, 128 yards, 2 TDs. It wasn't about his yards in that game. It was just about how he was controlling the game. He felt like watching the old Tom Brady, so he felt comfortable.
I actually thought you was gonna go with Joe Mixon because Joe Mixon had a hell of a game.
He did, but I don't really give losers MVP. So
I feel you.
Especially when you lose by 21 piece. Let's drop the sticks. Game over at halftime.
All right, I'm with you.
New York Giants 36, Miami 20. I'm going with Barkley, Saquon. 24 attempts, 112 yards, and 2 TDs. Good job, Barkley. Welcome back to being an MVP because the last few weeks wasn't good for you.
He's been struggling.
Yeah.
He's going to be, as soon as his rookie contract's up, he's signing somewhere else.
Yeah. Philly 37, Washington 27. I'm going with Carson Wentz. 266 yards, 3 TDs. He had 0 INTs, but Sanders had
Sanders went off.
He went off. He had 19 attempts for 122 yards and a touchdown. Shout out to Sanders. Green Bay 21, Chicago Bears 13. I'm going with Adams. 7 receptions, 103 yards and a touchdown. Arizona 38, Cleveland 24. I'm going with Drake. He had 22 attempts, 137 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
You got to get this for that.
Whoa, wrong one.
Wrong one. I'm sorry, guys. He gets the clap.
We're just learning right now. Give us a moment. Give us a moment.
Next up, Minnesota 39, the Chargers 10. I'm going with Minnesota D holding the Chargers to 10 points because that's hard to do with a team like Chargers who score.
Yeah, especially the way Melvin Gordon's been running the ball.
Yeah. Atlanta 29, San Fran 22.
That one was accurate though.
Yeah. Jones had he got the ball thrown to him 20 times.
Wow.
He had 13 receptions, 134 yards, and 2 TDs.
This game kind of like put people like I can't even speak on it right because it's just like wow. Atlanta's got 4 wins on the season, and you beat one of the best teams in the league.
But that's why it's any given Sunday in the NFL. Anything can happen.
That's the best thing about football, man. It's like you go into a game, and it's like you go into a game, San Fran versus the 49ers, and you've already got a foregone conclusion. 49ers are just going to dominate, and then the game comes to the last moment, and Matt Ryan does what this team should have been doing all season long, and drives it down the field. It was an amazing game.
That it was. Cowboys 44, Rams 21. What? I'm going with Pollard. He had 12 attempts, 131 yards and a touchdown. But my other guy Zeke, 24 attempts, 117 yards and 2 TDs. The two-headed monsters went crazy that game.
Can't we just give the Dallas Cowboys the MVP because these dudes have been playing absolute garbage. Yeah, they've been playing so terrible all season, and they finally beat a good team, and didn't just beat a good team. They stomped him into the ground, completely unexpected. They shut down him. Almost only aspect of the game that was actually working was Todd Gurley.
Yes. Bills 17, Pittsburgh 10. I'm going with Jay Brown from the Bills. He had 7 receptions, 99 yards, but he didn't score. But he had out of the 99 yards, Allen only threw for 139 yards.
What?
So he had about a good
he had all of them.
Yards.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why he got the MVP in that.
Okay.
New Orleans 34, Colts 7. And you got to go with the man, myth, legend, however you want to name him, Drew Brees. 29 of 30, 307 yards and 4 TDs.
29 of 30?
Yes.
Holy crap. That's
almost
awesome.
A perfect game.
Breaks a record while he's at it.
While he's at it.
I did watch some of that game.
Hold on, we got to give him love.
Absolutely.
He deserves that.
He does deserve it. But He broke a record. Michael Thomas went off. You know, the only thing I have a problem with this this Saints team, and they need to course correct ASAP if they're gonna be in the playoffs and they want to continue in the playoffs to that Super Bowl, is they're not getting Kamara involved in the game nearly enough. I mean,
yeah, but that comes with it too. It's like your team's rolling, so you got to roll with the punches. However, it's coming. So right now they're doing pretty well in the passing game.
Yeah.
If you got someone throwing one incomplete pass in a whole NFL game, that's like almost unheard of. So when you got a guy rolling like that, you just got to roll with it. It's not
true
because he does catch a lot of passes at the backfield too. So it's not like he's not. It's not like he's like
I mean,
a power
he's
running
had-
back that's just being put to the side.
he's had like 3 or 4 like unproductive games in a row, and
Sometimes it's like that in the NFL.
guess,
Sometimes
yeah.
the well go dry, and then you got to water it back up.
this is true.
You know.
This is true. And when you have a guy like Michael Thomas and you got Jared Cook, I mean, Taquan Smith had like 2 touchdowns
Yeah.
in that game.
They're receiver heavy.
Yeah, they are receiver heavy and they're doing really well. That was the last game. And since we're talking about it, let's talk about
You gotta give out how you did last week.
how I did last. You know, I don't know how I did last week. So how about while you talk about how you did last week, I can look and find out how I did last week. But give me 1 second before you start so that I'm on time here.
Come on, Craig, you're slipping, my guy.
I am slipping, man. You know,
It's slipping.
Usually you ask me this question before the show starts, and then this week, you know, that's for you, bro. You're supposed to have my back, here, son, and you just hung me out to dry, like.
You know, I had to finish up a couple things too. It was a busy day today at work. You know. Right.
we didn't get going like we hoped we would get going.
Yeah.
So you go ahead. I'm gonna start working on this.
So before I get going, I just want to shout the word out. It was a tough week this week in picking things, but I feel bad for Craig.
You feel bad for me.
He beat me up in fantasy. He can't keep on beating me down. So, you know, I have to bounce back and do things like I did this week on him. So, Craig,
Yeah.
I went 10-0.
Are you serious? You went 10-0.
Here's my paper from last week to prove my teams that I had just in case, so everybody can see that it's real, right, Craig? It's real. You see that? Week 14, it's real.
I believe you.
So I had Baltimore minus 14. They won. Green Bay minus 4.5. They won. KC, well, Craig got 5 wins at least because we have 5 of the same. KC was minus 11. They won. Tampa Bay was minus 3.5. They won. Philly was minus 4.5. They won. Pats was minus 9.5. They won. Seattle was minus 5.5. They won. Atlanta was plus 11, and they won outright. New Orleans was minus 9. They covered. And Cowboys was plus 1, and they won outright.
Still not ready.
Thank you, Craig.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry that I had to do it to you like that. I told you it was coming. I told all the fans out there, all the viewers, I told you guys that one week I would have a perfect card, and I happened to be last week. So hopefully you guys listened to me last week, and you might have won some money. The craziest game out of all of them to mention, for all my people out there that really pay attention to sports and maybe doing a little gambling or however you do it, the Oakland, was it the Oakland game? Not the Oakland game. In the Philly game, Philly was only up 3 points, given 6.5. They scored a touchdown with 5 seconds left in the game. 5 seconds left in the game versus Washington. The strip sack.
Yeah.
So if anybody took Philly, Philly was favored by 6.5 points a touchdown. So they was only up 3 with 5 seconds left in that game. That
Yeah.
strip sack, they score, they win by 9. Everybody covers.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right. Here we go. I got it. And guess what, buddy?
What's up?
You got me by 1. All right. You got Baltimore over the Jets. Jets getting 15. Got it. Philly over Washington. Washington getting 4.5. Got it. Giants over Miami. Miami getting 3.5. Got it. Denver over Kansas City. Kansas City -10. Don't got it. Green Bay over Chicago. Chicago getting 4.5. Got it. Tampa Bay over Detroit. Detroit getting 3.5. Got it. New England over Cincinnati. Cincinnati getting 9.5. Got it. Minnesota over the Chargers. Chargers getting 2.5. Got it. Buffalo, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh -2. Got it. And then you know what? Technically I lost 2. Seahawks, Carolina. Carolina gets 6. It ends in a draw, and draws go to the bookie.
Yes.
So, yeah, technically I lost 2. So that's only 8 for me. However, I don't have my old notebook to have the numbers in it.
Ooh, he lost it on me.
I have my notebook. It's in my car. I forgot about the scorekeeping.
Just call it a blowout.
I know that I'm getting dominated by at least 8 points.
Absolutely.
And we definitely have an 8-point spread going on here. Now that we've done the recap, it's time to jump into some news. Boom! Oh, on the wrong page. Let's get in order.
Come on,
Drew
Kurt.
Brees passes Peyton Manning for all-time touchdown leader, 541 touchdowns to Peyton Manning's 539 touchdowns. An honorable mention because the season ain't over. Tom Brady with 538 career touchdowns. He just needs he just needs 2 touchdowns to make second place, and then to outscore Drew Brees for the remainder of the season. And we'll have a new touchdown. Oh, I mean, at the end of the day, Drew Brees, is he playing next year? I don't think so. Is Tom Brady? Yes. Oh no, bro.
That's
Tom Brady. Baby. That's Tom Brady, baby. All day.
They both might be out after this year.
Nah, Tom Brady's gonna play, man. He's gonna play. Because especially if you don't
This
get
is
the
about
Super Bowl,
Drew Brees, not about your Patriots. And
it's everything always
So-
reverts back to the Patriots.
It doesn't, though.
But I do want to say, well, my bad. Drew Brees, you're the man, baby. Congratulations on an incredible milestone. I love watching Drew Brees play, and it's cool to see him get another accolade before his career comes to a non-Super Bowl winning end.
He has a Super Bowl.
No. But he's not going to win the end of his career. This is going to be his last season.
We don't know that.
They're going Teddy Bridgewater
We
next
shall
year.
see. No.
Yes.
No.
What do you mean? They've been just as good.
Negative.
Oh, okay. You know what? I will say this, though. In light of Drew Brees.
Teddy Bridgewater is a backup quarterback.
Nah. Teddy Bridgewater. What? He didn't lose a game.
He's a backup quarterback.
He didn't lose a game.
He's not a starting quarterback.
Yes, he is. He did not lose a game. The Saints didn't. Matter of fact, the only games that the Saints lost.
When Drew Brees went down, who the one that told you that they was still gonna hold it down? I know the Saints backwards.
Yeah.
You know that.
But here's the thing: the only games the Saints lost were with Drew Brees.
Absolutely, but that's Drew Brees' team.
Saints might only have one loss had Teddy Bridgewater never got taken off.
Dude, are you out of your mind?
I mean, are you out of your mind? What's
You're
going
out
on
of your
here?
mind, kid.
I don't know. All right, let's talk about some important players this year. We're gonna start off with the MVP of the season, which I know is the one thing we do not disagree on. Lamar Jackson.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about him.
The way he's controlling the game, and you got to give a shout out to his offensive coordinator because the way his offensive coordinator has him controlling the game, not having him do too much, not having him think too much, making him have easy reads, the game is becoming easy to him. And I think the pace of the NFL when he first got there, for instance, in college, he was faster than everybody.
Yeah.
So he was out, like when he scrambles, he's outrunning guys and stuff like that. He can always throw the ball deep. But now he transpires into the NFL. His first couple years, I don't think he had the NFL. He had the NFL speed, but he didn't know the game speed of the NFL.
Oh, okay.
Because it either goes faster or slower. So now I think he got the speed down pat to where he's just dangerous. And I love the fact, and it's not even just him, it's their team as a whole, his tight ends, his running back, Ingram, the receiving core, they're all really playing for each other. And you could tell when a team is playing for each other, and you could tell, a band of brothers, and they're a band of brothers and playing for each other from top to bottom, from offense to defense to coaching to everything. Everything about this Ravens team this year is going well, and they're doing really well, and it's putting a stamp on the NFL.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, the thing that most impresses me, and we've said it more than once over the season, is how well he has improved from his rookie year. You know, his rookie year, they had to run the ball with him almost every play. They almost exclusively ran the ball with Lamar Jackson. They bring in Mark Ingram to take that weight off of him, and now he can just throw the ball. But he took the time in the offseason to perfect his craft, and the craft is really throwing the ball.
Yeah. And you can see it. You can see it. Like,
Yeah, just, you know, he's got a 112.8 passer rating, which is second. When's the last time a rushing quarterback had the second highest passer rating in the NFL? I don't think that's ever happened. I'd probably venture to say that there's never been a running quarterback, like a real running quarterback, that's been in the top 5 of passer ratings. He passed for over 2,500 yards. He ran for over 1,000 yards. 33 touchdowns. He's the first running quarterback to have 1,000 rushing yards and over 100 passer rating. So that's incredible. 4 games with over 100 yards rushing. Multiple games with 5 touchdowns and 50 yards rushing. I mean, this dude's doing everything right now.
everything.
He's changing the game, and, you know, to think it all started with coaches and GMs wanting him to come to the combine as a running back and a wide receiver.
He reminds me, like, his attitude right now and how he's playing the game of football. He reminds me of Cam Newton when he first came into the league.
Yes,
He's just having
100.
fun with it.
Yeah.
He's having fun with that quarterback position. Like, he's focused on his teammates around him. Like, he's showing that he's a good leader. Like, everything about Jackson right now is great. He just got to keep his good image and keep up the good work.
Yeah, they got a young team of people who are just hungry. I mean, they got two second-year tight ends, a second-year quarterback, a leader in a running back with Mark Ingram. Tons of talent, rookie wide receivers all over the place. I really think that the coaches and the GMs put together an excellent team around this kid to help him succeed, but he's definitely taking the bull by the horns. He's grabbing the reins, and he's leading this team, and he's humble. Like, Mark Ingram has to be his voice for bragging.
Yeah.
He doesn't brag. He just plays the game for the love of the game. And, you know, to think that there was a possibility that the Patriots could have drafted him and we might have had to wait 3 years to even see this. And would we have seen the same Lamar Jackson? My opinion is no. I think that he was put in the perfect scenario to succeed the way he has. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for him, because I think he exceeds Cam Newton, Michael Vick, all those guys. I think he could potentially. I think Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson is the new Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, just on a whole nother level of play.
Yeah, but you know how it goes. Records is meant to be broken, so it's almost like they passed the torch down for him.
Yeah.
So you gotta give him some type of love, some type of credit. But at the end of the day, you just gotta love what the guy's doing,
Exactly.
and what he represents.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens with Lamar Jackson in the future, but we all know that when it comes time to name an MVP of the regular season, the crown is going to go on his head.
It should go on his head.
There's no way. There's nobody else. The closest possible player to him is Russell Wilson, but no. Russell Wilson isn't breaking records this year. Lamar Jackson has broken records this year, and there's no way. So, Gotta learn those buttons. All right. I'm going to let you choose. I'm going to let you go first. Offensive player of the year.
Right now, my offensive player of the year would be Christian McCaffrey. My offensive player of the year would be Christian McCaffrey. He has 265 attempts, 1,307 yards, 14 TDs, 94 receptions, 814 yards, and 4 TDs. So he's going on and having like a 20-plus touchdown season all around. rushing. He's doing it all. After losing Cam Newton, team dependent on him. Only
Put the team on his back.
Yeah, really put the team on his back. They actually was competing for a while. They had a stretch where they won a few games.
Yeah.
Made the quarterback look great, and then now, so I don't want to mention that because we're going to be talking about that.
Yeah.
So, right now he's my offensive player of the year.
See, I originally had him as my offensive player of the year, and I agreed with everything you said. The only thing that made me change my mind is I feel like offensive player of the year, and this is kind of what you said earlier, can't be MVP if you ain't winning games. And even though he's putting the team on his back and he's doing everything he can, he is not failing. He is not failing, but he ain't causing his team to win games. That's why I got to go with my boy, Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is quickly making his way to the top of my list as favorite wide receiver in the NFL now that my boy Antonio Brown is officially gone. But I love this dude. He got sticky tape on his hands. He runs incredible routes. His route running is amazing, and his ability to get open. You know what I'm saying? Like, his Instagram name is "Can't No One Cover Me," because nobody can cover this dude. You put the best cornerback in the league on him, and he's still going to get open. He's still going to catch passes, which is one of the reasons why I fear the possibility of, if the Patriots make it to the Super Bowl, having to face the Saints, because, one, we're not great at stopping the run, but two, Stephon Gilmore, he can cover anybody, but Michael Thomas is going to be a problem. This dude is incredible. 133 receptions this year. 1,552 receiving yards. He averages 11.7 per reception, and he has 8 touchdowns this year. I was actually surprised when I read that. He only has 8 touchdowns, which means he's pretty much scoring every other game, which is it's still great to have that many touchdowns, but I did think it was more. But he's incredible. And it really is his ability, the ability to get open and to have hands like he has. It's incredible. So, offensive player of the year, Michael Thomas. Let's see who's right when they name that one. I can't wait for this one. Who do you got? Defensive player of the year. If you say my guy, I'm just gonna be over the moon. You make me so happy. You make me so happy if you say my guy's name.
So I have a little. That's why I've been looking it up, because I have a little curveball for you for my. Honestly, my defensive player of the year.
Okay. I'm ready.
And it's someone who you probably least expect, but he really deserves it because of how he's been playing the game this year, everything he's been doing, how he's been playing the game.
Hit the button.
So my defensive MVP right now is Gilmore from the Patriots.
Yes! Yes!
He will be my defensive MVP right now.
Thank
Today,
you.
I got to give it to him. He's tied for interceptions, return touchdown. Interceptions for return for a touchdown.
Yep.
He got every time he gets an interception, he takes it to the house. The style that he has, that defense playing, everybody's playing through him because it's easy when you're playing a safety position or even like a cornerback position or even a linebacker position where you don't have to worry about one side of the field. He's doing what all the great cornerbacks did before him.
Yep.
And he's just like, how Richard Sherman was the man for like
the
2-3 years ago,
yeah.
longest time. So now I think it's time to pass the torch to Gilmore, because right now he's been proving himself week in and week out. And me, no matter if I like a team or not, I'm a football guy, so I'm always going to respect the game and keep it real. And Gilmore right now is the MVP, defensive-wise.
I feel like a kid at Christmas right now, bro. Like, this is the greatest gift you could have given me right before the holidays. I have also Stephon Gilmore as Defensive Player of the Year, and
mind you, I didn't tell you who
you
I
did
had.
not tell me.
Yeah.
You refused to tell me. You said you wanted to save this particular pick for the show, and I am glad that you did, because I am happy. One more time, Stephon Gilmore, Defensive Player of the Year. This dude has been playing incredible football. He's leading the team, and like you said, kind of said this in a way, is that the defense is feeding off his energy. They're seeing how well he's playing, and they're trying to play up to his level. When you put Stephon Gilmore on a wide receiver, they're pretty much out the game. Reminiscent of, like you said, Richard Sherman or Revis Island. This dude is just...
on all them guys.
I remember when the Patriots signed Stephon Gilmore and, gave him one of the biggest contracts we've ever given a player. And I was really surprised by this. And I'm like, Stephon Gilmore, I remember that game against us where, like, he was getting beat up. Like, we were playing him. I'm like, I don't understand this move. And then we get him that year, and he didn't really impress me too much. Until the playoffs. He had that big stop against Jacksonville in the playoffs. Yep. That one-handed bat away, and you start to see some greatness coming out of this kid. And what he's done this season has been nothing short of remarkable, just absolute greatness. 6 interceptions. He got 126 yards, two returned for touchdowns. He has 18 passes defended, 1 fumble recovery, and 36 solo tackles. I mean, the dude is just doing everything he can to shut down his side of the field. I'm loving it, and I hope that we never lose this dude.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. Who do you have Rookie of the Year defense?
So Rookie of the Year defense was hard for me because it was hard, but it was easy because I don't like the guy. So that's why it's hard.
Amen.
But, again, I'm a realist, and I respect the real. And whether I like you, if I don't like you, then it is what it is. And I still going to give you credit. That's just who I am as a person.
We got to do it. We got to be real.
So I got to go with Bosa from San Fran.
Yeah, man, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
What are his accolades? What do you got here?
I didn't even.
You don't got? I got him.
Okay.
So Nick Bosa has registered 9 sacks on the season.
Yeah, I didn't write it down because we have the same on that one. So
yeah. He got 9 sacks on the season. Surprisingly, I didn't realize this. He got an interception.
Yeah, he did.
For a defensive lineman to get an interception is pretty awesome. He got 27 tackles, 14 assists, 77 sack yards. And I feel like that's a very impressive. I mean, when I watch games with the 49ers, Nick Bosa is always in there disrupting plays. He gives you almost no time to throw the ball, and some would even say he's better than his brother Joey Bosa. I can't disagree with that. And one of my favorite moments for Nick Bosa this season was when he planted the flag. He got that sack on Baker Mayfield, and then he plants the flag on him. I like that moment. I love Nick Bosa, the football player. Nick Bosa, the man, that's a whole nother story. We don't get into the politics and stuff like that. But Nick Bosa, the football player, is an incredible force to be reckoned with. So, if you get it, congratulations to you. Rookie offensive Rookie of the Year. Who you got?
So for me, I'm kind of biased on it.
Yeah.
The guy who I picked, he don't have crazy amount of wins, but he has more wins than this program had in a while. Yeah. I'm going with Kyler Murray. He played in 14 games. He threw 400. He went 312 out of 482. He has 3,279 passing yards. He has 17 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. But the big kicker is he was sacked 46 times, and that's tough to.
He got sacked 46 times?
46 times and counting. And it's like for you to be a rookie quarterback and still manage to throw up 3,000, never been hurt all season, you're still fighting, and a lot, and me and you both can attest to this, is a lot of games this year that they lost, they didn't get blown out. No. It was like
they
under
almost
a touchdown.
Beat the 49ers.
Yeah, it was 7 points and under for a lot of their games. Yeah. So it was like this team could easily be a wild card team have they won 3 or 4 close more games.
Absolutely.
Of a touchdown and under.
If they build on that, if all they need is offensive line and a little bit of a push on defense.
And then I find this crazy too is that they got two running backs, David Johnson, Keenan Drake. David Johnson, 92 attempts, 314 yards. Keenan Drake, 87 attempts, 417 yards. And then you got Kyler Murray, 85 rushing attempts, 404 yards, 4 TDs. Only one who got more TDs than him rushing is Drake. He got 5. But he's coming off a game where he just had 4.
Where he just had 4.
So therefore, he only had 1.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
like this dude is doing it all for this team offensive-wise, and he really has no help, as you see by numbers-wise.
He
Larry
definitely is
Fitzgerald
lacking.
looks like he's back. He was looking like he was back in his prime for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He's about to crack 1,000 yards receiving, and I would love to see Larry Fitz. Next 2 games, just throw it to Larry Fitz all game because I would love to see him crack 1,000 yards.
Absolutely. We both agree that we both love Larry Fitzgerald and think that he's got the best hands in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
This is definitely a team. The only thing I feel bad for is I don't think that this is Larry Fitzgerald's last year, but if it was, like I feel like he should play one more year just because Kyler Murray is coming together. I don't necessarily disagree with you that Kyler Murray is offensive rookie of the year because, one, he's had to go through extreme adversity.
Absolutely.
An offensive line that can barely protect him. A lackluster wide receiver core, unfortunately for myself, because David Johnson was my favorite running back coming into the season, a lackluster run game until Kenyon Drake's only been there for like 5 weeks, so this run game has really been lackluster. That Kyler Murray is the greatness that is this team. So to be able to even have the wins that he has this season, I think
I would say, honestly, and I would say as a GM, this season was everything to you because this dude proved he can be a warrior in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did he prove that he can be a warrior in the NFL, he also proved like he was worthy of the number 1 pick out of all the quarterbacks that still playing in the NFL.
He's definitely
so he
the
was
best.
definitely he proved like for all the doubters that doubted him out there, he definitely proved that he was the best quarterback picked in the draft this year and everything like that.
You put him on a team with an offensive line with some like real talent at wide receiver, outside of Larry Fitzgerald, and I think it's a whole different season for Kyler Murray.
Just imagine him in the teams of the
Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati.
You put him on Cincinnati Bengals with that wide receiver
Boyd
core.
and the,
Yeah. You put him on Dallas. I think he'd be better than Dak.
Yeah.
I mean, Dak. Technically, Dak is a top 3 passing yards.
Yeah,
but
I can't reach that far.
I mean, maybe,
I got to see my guy Kyler play a little bit more.
Maybe you can reach that far. I don't know.
I like Kyler, but he got to play a little bit more before I stop.
He needs to develop. I mean, Lamar Jackson made the playoffs his rookie year, but he just made it.
Yeah.
And he was playing in a league where like his division was very weak.
2 more weeks and he just got to make it out healthy. And this season was the best season for that whole organization because when you have a strong quarterback and you can just build off of that.
Yep.
That's all I'm worried about is my offense.
There it is.
Like the defense didn't play bad this year.
Not terrible.
Yeah.
There's definitely room for improvement.
Always room for improvement.
That offensive line it should be the key focus for Arizona this year. I kind of went in a different direction myself. I had to go with Josh Jacobs. I love the running back position. Josh Jacobs has 1,150 yards this season. That's 6 overall for running backs.
Yeah.
7 TDs. He has an 88.5 yards per game, and he only fumbled the ball once. They lost that fumble, but he only had 1 fumble the whole season.
That's
his
big.
rookie year. Yeah. Reminiscent of Bo Jackson. He had an incredible rookie season, and even before the season started, they had been saying there was a chance that Josh Jacobs could get Rookie of the Year, and I was like, I don't know, we'll see what happens. I actually kind of thought it was going to be N'Keal Harry, but he was pretty much injured the whole season. Josh Jacobs really stepped up and helped lead this team to some really good victories.
I think that Offensive Rookie of the Year is really like the toughest award to give out.
It really is.
Yeah, because it's close, and it don't matter out of the 2 people that we just named. If one of them get it, it's a blessing.
Not wrong.
It's not wrong.
Yeah.
It won't be a wrong pick either way.
I agree.
You chop it up to be. It won't be a wrong pick at all.
No, I definitely agree with you. All right, let's talk about this Atlanta Falcons San Francisco 49ers game, man, because this game was not only was it awesome, but the way it ends is just just crazy, man. No one saw this happening.
No one saw this happening. Well, I took them because I knew like when we have our picks, we do it by the spread. I'm like,
Yeah.
11 points is a high, and I have a love-hate relationship with Atlanta. You know how I am.
Oh yeah, of
like,
course.
because they're a team that's so unpredictable. It's ridiculous. Now, if they play this type of football all year, they could be a number 2, 3 seed. But yet, you're playing horrible football, and then you want to beat a top-ranked team and still be last. Like, I just don't know what to say about Atlanta because, like, I try to give them so much credit. I try to rock that wave. Up until week 4, I just jumped off the bandwagon, and I just couldn't speak on them anymore because every time you try to speak highly of them, they do something and be like, okay, no, I can't mess with them. So it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on with Atlanta.
To be honest with you, I personally believe 100% it's just coaching, man. They lost Kyle Shanahan and immediately just like fell off a cliff. I mean, by week 10, you were 2-8. I mean, what, 2-8? That's a terrible record. And I don't know. I think the future's bright for that team. But
Yeah, they have all the right pieces to the puzzle. It's just
Yeah.
that they ain't putting the puzzle together.
and they do it they do put it together in the most random moments.
Yeah.
Like when they play San Fran. That final drive, man, to watch Matt Ryan and Julio Jones just take the game by the reins and make things happen and get
But they
down
can do
there.
that. They can do that at will, but sometimes it feels like sometimes I feel like Julio feels in like cruise control, like he's an animal that can take over a football game anytime he want at will, but he don't. It's almost like, and that's why like I never pick him up in fantasy because he don't finish plays. Like
No.
he'll have 200 yards receiving with 0 touchdowns. That's not good enough for me. Like if you have 200 yards receiving, you definitely should have at least 2 to 3 touchdowns.
Oh, at
Like,
least a touchdown.
or at least
at
one
the very
touchdown.
least a
yeah.
touchdown.
And it's because he don't finish plays, and it's like, man, like
A guy that big and that athletic and that strong, like, it seems like he's playing not to get hurt. Like he doesn't want to get hurt, so he doesn't force the issue of trying to continue a play. I did see him in this game, though. I did feel like he was trying to to continue the play as far as possible. But I do agree with you, man. He doesn't finish a lot of plays. He doesn't score a lot of touchdowns.
yeah. And the only reason why I say that is because I remember being younger, like even on the Pop Warner level, like being mad, like I should have scored like more touchdowns this game. And my homies will tell me, my dad, my mom, like, you gotta finish. Like if you want to score, if you want to have 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, you gotta finish that play. Like keep running. Like
Yeah.
don't get tackled. If you know the ball's inside the 20-yard line, goal line going in, you better finish. Like
Yeah.
and
You
that's
gotta
the thing.
find that way.
Whether you have to dive 3-4 yards out, you gotta finish. If you want to score, because if not, the next person's number's getting called and they're gonna finish that play. So any chance you get inside the 10-yard line, 20-yard line, you gotta finish that play. I don't care who you are. You gotta
100.
finish that play.
And it's that same thing goes for the 49ers, man. Like you was on, you were at the top of the pecking order, and now you drop below the Seahawks, losing to a team with a losing record, a
Yeah,
team
but-
eliminated from the playoffs, and you give up that L.
Honestly speaking, though, this doesn't really hurt San Fran,
It does hurt them. It puts them in the wild card.
but still, like, that division's so crazy and it's so upside down, but it's like the team that Atlanta has is not a bad team if you're looking at it on the books,
Yeah,
team wise.
on
but if you
paper,
look at
Atlanta's
record wise,
amazing. Yeah.
they're horrible. But me and you both know any given week, Atlanta can go out there and put up 50 points.
Hey,
It's just that some weeks they just. You
That's
just
true.
look at them
I
like,
mean,
what's going on? Like,
could
they're
say
really
that
a
about-
good football team, and it's,
You could
and
say
it's
that
sad.
about Tampa Bay. I mean,
Same
Tampa
thing with them.
Jameis Winston is leading the league in passing yards, and they're putting up more points. They're scoring more points than any other team, but they play teams. When they play teams, the teams put up more points than them. On paper and by points scored throughout the season, you would think that that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the number 1 team in the league.
But the thing about the Buccaneers, and you got to look at this, the big thing that you circle with them is offensive turnovers.
Yeah.
You can't have that many. You could put up 100 points, but if you put up 60 points right in a game, and your quarterback got 7, 8 interceptions, 9 times out of 10 that team scored off of some of those possessions. Out of 8 possessions, they're gonna score 4, 5, almost
I agree.
67. You should be scoring 60-70% of the time, depending on where the ball is too.
Yeah.
But it's like that's why Drew Brees and them are so good, because he don't really turn the ball over.
Yeah,
so he makes it hard for you to score your 50. Playing versus Tampa, it's easy to score that 50 because at any given time, you know, a turnover can happen because they're going to give that ball up. And that's the difference with Tampa, and that's why Tampa's not a top-notch team because of their offensive turnovers. Because without their offensive turnovers, you wipe that across the board. Yeah, teams don't really score on them. They play really good defense. They got a great offense. They
probably got 10 wins.
Yeah,
they probably got 10 wins.
But they got too many turnovers offensive-wise. Like you just said it. Winston, he had how many?
I don't know how many yards he has, but he's leading.
No, how many interceptions he has?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, but you know he's leading the league in interceptions. He's
leading the league in interceptions. Yeah, and also in passing yards. So like one washes away the other, but yeah, I think that I think it's a big disappointment for San Fran to go from from the last undefeated team left to now you're in a wild card position. Like Seahawks need to lose in order for you to take that position back.
That can happen.
It can happen. They play each other week 17. So hypothetically speaking, San Fran and Seahawks win this week, and then San Fran comes and beats Seattle. They can take that.
What I like about it, honestly, what I like more about it, and this is me being selfish right now. What I like more about what's happening and what's transpiring in the NFC is that these dudes got to play all the way up until week 17.
All the way to week 17.
They can't bench nobody.
Nope.
And that makes the game fun because, like, as someone who loves the game and watches it all the time, is like, oh, I don't want to watch no second, third string QB.
You don't want to watch a week 17 preseason game.
Yeah, like.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
like, for me, I'm being selfish right now and say, good. Like, I'd rather Patriots have to fight too. I'd rather all these teams fight to week 17 because that's just giving us more and more good football every week, and I love it. Like,
yeah, I can't agree more. Well, the only thing that will make me mad this year, and it's only in the Dallas, Washington, Philly, Giants division, is I'll be so mad if I see a team with a losing record make the playoffs.
But it happens in that division.
It happens in that division. It usually happens in the Carolina, Atlanta division. That's how I know that Atlanta and Carolina, I think they both have made the playoffs with either a 50-50 or a under 500 record. That really annoys me that you can make the playoffs. I think I said this before in the beginning of the season that I believe that the NFL should turn to what the NHL does for the playoffs.
Oh, like no
top 12 team.
Yeah, top 12
teams. Top 12 records. No matter what side you're on, top 12 records make the playoffs.
Okay, if you was to do that now, that would look crazy.
It would be awesome.
A team like your Pats will have to play like.
What do you mean? They're a top 5 team. They're guaranteed a spot.
No. I'm not saying that they're not guaranteed a spot.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the teams that they have a chance to play in that first round would be crazy. Like coming from the NFC.
Yeah.
They could be a team that they haven't saw all year. You get what I'm saying? Like
I get you.
How do you like at least like in your division, at least you play versus them twice and maybe once you saw them, so you know you got to feel for it. But if you play in a playoff game versus a team that you haven't played all season in that preparation week, oh, it's gonna be hell. So that will be, I think, way more interesting. What you're saying, I think it'll be the top 12 teams.
More interesting, and I think you would see a lot more competitive games, especially in division rivalries. Because Dallas, they're coasting right now. You know, they're right there with Philly, but they got the wins over Philly. And as long as they don't lose more games than Philly at this point, granted they see Philly in the final.
But Dallas knows Dallas just wins on the right times. Yeah. That's all they've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely
cruising the games. They need to cruise and win when they need to win.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about this. Arizona Cleveland game where Kyler Murray and Kenyon Drake just brought this team to victory.
Like Kyler, honestly, he shredded that defense. It was like, it wasn't even like, I won't even go heavy on Kyler. I would say more so Drake.
Yeah, Drake
because
was just the beast of this game.
Drake really showed what he can do for that team. And that's good to build on because, like we said, there's 2 more weeks left. They're already not out the playoffs.
Yep.
But just build on something for people to be like, oh, I'm interested to see what they can do next year. And I think that's what Arizona is given. And one thing I do love about Arizona and what they're doing over there, like, again, every game they played in, they might have lost a close game, but they have not gave up in any game. They're showing a lot of fight.
A lot of heart.
For that, I respect him, and I can't just like we already said. Like we counted this year as a wash for a team like Arizona, but we was more interested. We had the clocker on how many games Kyler could win.
Yeah,
and from the games that he overexcelled for what like he can do with the team that he has on hand.
Yeah, he did. I think he did very well. I was for a person who was not a believer. I was not a believer. He made me a believer. He made me believe that with the right weapons around him, he could have a solid team. One of the things I love the most outside of Kyler, once again, is with Kenyon Drake. Once again, proving me right that it's not the player, it's the coach. So you can have a player not perform and then get transferred to another team where the coach sees his skill set and utilizes it perfectly. Kenyon Drake showed flashes in Miami 2 years ago. Then this year, he's absolutely terrible. He's a running back that you don't even consider. You think he's trash. Then he goes to Arizona.
He played on that team. He played on that team that was tanking too. And it's like,
I mean, were they tanking? Because Miami's won some pretty good games.
Yeah, but
this season.
it's like this too. It's like,
I think that
it's
the coaching
tough.
was terrible.
Yeah, but it's tough because every coach, every mentor is gonna get something different out of that person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like us as human beings, the right human being can come along and get something different out of you anytime. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of like playing football. You play on one team, okay. They're using you as just a running back, even though you can catch passes out the backfield. That's not what they need you to do. They just want you to run the ball. Now you get traded to a team, whereas, okay, now they need you to catch the ball. So now you're running and catching. Now you're exposing more of what you can do.
Yeah.
And now you might get on a team that wants you to carry the ball 25 times a game.
Do you think Arizona moves on from Kenyon, or do they move on from David Johnson?
I think they move on from David Johnson because David Johnson can't stay healthy. And that's the biggest thing with him is he can't stay healthy. So when he's healthy, he's good. But when's the last time you got a healthy David Johnson playing the whole season? 3 years ago.
Last 2 years, this year and last year. No, last year he was out last year. No, he was healthy last year, but
he was out for a little bit.
But he had some off games. The year before that, he was out with the wrist injury. But last year was a lackluster season for David Johnson, and I do believe towards the end of the season he did get hurt. I think it was the back injury that he re-aggravated this year. And this year was just the most abysmal season ever for David Johnson. Like it was piss poor.
Yeah.
And for me, it's exceptionally sad to see a running back that talented just not be able to, play to his potential.
Gotcha.
So with that being said, Kyler Murray has what is it? 219. He had 219 passing yards. He was with one touchdown. He had, and then Kenyon Drake had 22 carries for 137 yards and 4 touchdowns. 6.2 yards per carry. These two dudes really went off. What I really want to talk about though is a guy that we had praised for a good amount of weeks, finally falling off a cliff. And that's Kyle Allen. Carolina benches Kyle Allen to bring in the other rookie, Will Grier, the guy that we thought would have got the ball, the guy we've been waiting to see. And now we're going to get a chance to see him this week. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Well, honestly, I really love it. I love that Will Grier finally gets his chance to perform and show what he got. Kyle Allen, like you said, he went downhill over the last couple of weeks, and the only reason why he went downhill is because, like we always say, film. So, yes, when Cam went down, a couple games in, boom, Kyler comes to play. Kyle, nobody really knows what he can do as an NFL quarterback. And he came in slinging it, and then you saw week by week and went down and down and down. Why? Because more teams got more and more film on him.
Yeah.
So now they know how to do coverages versus him. Now they know how to blitz his blind side and blitz, all that changes when a team has film on you. So it only takes a matter of time for them to figure you out. And, and that's what happened with him. He got figured out too fast. And it is what it is.
Yeah, he really, it really shows, how much the lack of knowledge on a player can affect a defense's ability to stop that.
Because it's funny because you never even thought about that until I started mentioning it to you.
No, not at
and
all.
Now that you think about it, you'd be like, damn, like that's crazy.
You can
like,
really see it. Yeah,
Like,
you kind of broke the glass for me, man. And now you could see that with every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
With players, look at even like Drew Lock. I mean, one game he's great. The next game he wasn't terrible, but
he wasn't where he was that first game.
Yeah, he wasn't where he was the first game. And it's not like, one game of film was enough. That's not always it. But sometimes it only takes one game to see a person's tendencies.
Because we can go back to Kyler, for instance.
Yeah.
Someone like Kyler Murray. He has great numbers, like not amazing numbers, but he got pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
Like for quarterbacks to have 3,000 yards right now, that's pretty good.
It is
as a
really
rookie
good,
quarterback. Yeah. But he's been sacked 47, 49 times, almost 50 times. This year, he's almost been sacked.
That's such a crazy number, man.
Yeah, and that's just saying like this, Craig. You're the defensive coordinator. I'm the offensive coordinator for Arizona. I'm playing versus you. All you got to do is, hey, we're going to blitz him off the edge, or we're going to see what side he's leaning more towards, and that's the side we blitzing to get him to go backside. In order to, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, you can set him
exactly.
up. You set him up and stuff like that. Like, you can set a quarterback up, blitz him this side because you want him to go that way, and vice versa. There's things like that, or blitz up the middle, up the gut. Like, there's different things and different things you can do with your defense almost freely.
Yeah.
When you're playing versus a guy like Kyler Murray who don't have an offensive line. But think about if he had an offensive line, he could be having like 4,000, 5,000 yards right now if he had an offensive line. You get what I'm saying?
That's the truth.
That's the difference because people scout, people see.
Because he is a slinger, man.
Yeah, he can sling it. Yeah, you gotta give him credit, like ball placement and all that. He slings it, and it's like then you watch him. It's like every other possession he's on his back. Every other possession. Sometimes he goes the whole game with being on his back every possession, and it's like, man, you gotta get this man some help in order to really see his full potential.
Yeah, he needs that time.
Now think about it. Mark my words. 3-4 years from now, that's all you're gonna be hearing about is Kyler. When Brady will be gone, Drew Brees will be gone. So you're gonna hear about the Mahomes, the Kyler Murrays.
All these new guys.
Yeah,
man.
all these new guys. But
Even
it's like
Josh Allen.
he's gonna be with a top 5 quarterback within the next 4 years. Kyler Murray.
Oh, top 5.
Top 5.
That's high praise, man. I like that.
Because at the end of the day, all the OGs that really pass the ball and sling it is going out the game. And no racial thing or nothing like that. But I'm gonna just throw it out there. A lot of people used to believe that running quarterbacks was a black thing.
Yeah.
Running quarterbacks became a white thing too because these white boys out here running the ball too. Christian McCaffrey's one of the best running backs in the league. He's white. Josh Allen
looking like Cam Newton.
Exactly. So it's like, hey, this don't got no color, no race, no nothing.
Man,
it's about balling, and these guys are really balling.
Exactly.
And the young group of guys that we have, they make the game of football so interesting that I can't wait for another 3-4 years just to see what the game of football will evolve in, like what's next. You get what I'm saying? Like that's almost like because it's almost out with the old and with the new. And you see like a lot of like we're talking about Terrell,
generational switch.
Yeah, we're talking about Terrell Suggs, but think about it. There's some guys in the league that's rookies, sophomores, and maybe even juniors in the league 3 years in. That was in Pampers when Terrell Suggs was at his peak.
Amen to that.
You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like
seriously.
Like, yeah, we're watching the game as Terrell Suggs fans. Like, damn, how did he get released? Because our mind thinks about the Baltimore Ravens playing with Ray Lewis, but man, that if you really think about it, that was 18 years ago, bro. Like,
well, I mean, not. See,
I'm just saying, but fast forward,
yeah.
Like
he's been around.
He's been around the block a long time. So now, fast forward, now you got a lot of these new guys coming in with their new swag. And it's
taking the game to a whole different place, and they're not ready for it, man.
And there's not a lot of whether you're white or black. And my point to that is whether you're white or black, there's not more so a lot of pocket passes anymore.
Yeah, and there's more
like
more
durable.
box.
Yeah, there's no more box. Yeah, so, it's more everybody's durable. Everybody can run and get away and slide and whatever. Shit, Tom Brady be trying to run some days. You know what I'm saying?
Tom Brady be running sometimes, man.
Sometimes.
I love to watch Tom Brady
slow
run.
motion. It's just like hit your TV like ting.
But what I am excited to see what Will Greer is going to bring to the table.
Absolutely.
Man. I've been wanting to watch him throw the ball. I really thought, like I said, when Cam went down, I thought it was going to go to him. He obviously wasn't ready. But when I remember talking about him when we were talking about the draft and players that we liked, and I liked Will Greer because he really has good ball placement, really good timing on where he puts the ball.
I was telling you about him. Because I used to watch him in college football for West Virginia.
Yeah.
But the thing about him is he kind of like, I don't think he's tall at all.
No,
he's small.
I think he's over 6, but he's not like no 6'2",
okay.
6'3". I don't know his exact height. I'd have to look it up, but I like him a lot, and I hope that he can succeed. But now that begs the question: Kyle Allen was your guy, and that rang rumors of a Cam trade. Does now with Kyle Allen being benched, not knowing what Will Grier is going to do when he gets the ball, he's only going to have 2 games to show us anything, and I don't believe that that's nearly enough.
Yep.
Do you stop the talks of trading Cam Newton, or do you say, you know what, we got to move on from Cam Newton and we got to see what we can do with these 2 quarterbacks?
Honestly, I'm going to give it to you from a couple of different point of views. Me, if I'm Cam Newton,
Yeah.
I want out.
Okay.
If I'm the GM of Carolina, I want Cam out.
Okay.
But me as a fan, I kind of want him to stay because he's been there his whole
he's a
career,
Panther.
and he's a Panther, and it's like I can't picture him anywhere else. Even though I can tell you a few teams that he can play on, but
we could talk about teams he could play for all day, but
yeah, but I really can't see him anywhere else. But the thing about it is you get rid of him because now you got two quarterbacks, one that you was high strung on and one that's younger.
The one you drafted.
The one you drafted.
First.
Yeah, and it's like, so you have 2 rookie quarterbacks. Let them figure out who's going to be your starter, who's going to be your backup. Move on from Cam. Let Cam get another 2-3 years good somewhere else and let him retire because that's what's going to happen. And then you got to think about it, even like injuries. Cam's been injured over the last few years. So it's kind of like, if you're the GM, it's kind of like, all right.
We got to pay him all this money. He can't even finish games.
Yeah, so it's like, do I keep him because I want to see him retire to the Panther, or do I let him go and get the max worth I can get for him? And that's the tough position that the GM's in, because it's like, all right, Cam, I've been down with you from day one. I drafted you here. You've been here the whole time. You've been a leader. You've been an inspiration. You got a lot of things going on out there in North Carolina, Charlotte. Like,
and we've done everything we can do
to help you, and you did everything to make us a great team. But it's like, do we keep you for another 2 years, 3 years, and let you retire or go? Or
do we just focus on building this team up?
And that will be my focus, is build up the team, because like we're saying, these young rookie quarterbacks is in now. All the OGs are starting to get out, so it's like you can't risk a Cam Newton.
Cam Newton's kind of like on that bubble.
Exactly. You can't risk an injured Cam Newton for these 2 rookie quarterbacks.
I agree.
You might as well just let him go and get whatever you can get for him in order to help out these rookie quarterbacks, whether it's offensive-wise or defensive-wise. And that's what you would have to do, and get what you can get for him now while his stock is still okay.
Yeah, if I'm Carolina Panthers, I'm trading Cam Newton, trying to get as high a possible pick I can get for him. Maybe even a player trade.
Oh, you're gonna play a trade for him, definitely.
I think try to get a real good trade, player for player, and then build up Will Grier as your starter. Work on Kyle Allen as your backup, and see how that works out. Give it a year or two, see what goes down. But I think you got, at this point, with everything that's happened, all the talks, I think you got to trade Cam at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't go back.
Nope.
All right, now it's time for some top 10 picks. We'll do top 10, top 5 this week, and then we'll go into the top 10, top 5
good
next
time,
week.
too.
We're making real good time. So let's do our top 10 against the spread.
Okay.
Week 16.
Top 10 against the spread week 16. I got Houston -3 over Tampa Bay. I got Pats -6.5 over the Bills. I got Washington -2.5 over the Giants. I got the Colts -6.5 versus the Panthers. But I kind of like the Panthers now that Grier's playing, but I'll keep it the same.
Okay.
Ravens -10 versus Cleveland. Saints -2.5 versus Tennessee. Pittsburgh -3 versus the Jets. Cowboys -3 versus the Eagles. KC -5 versus the Bears. The Chargers -6 versus the Raiders.
Oh, so this week could be a week where I absolutely come back. I can come back this week because we only got 3 of the same.
Okay.
But we do have we have at least 2 opposing opinions. Tampa Bay over Houston, with Houston -3. Tampa Bay's putting up them numbers. Houston may be fighting for that playoff spot, but I like teams that aren't making the playoffs to just ruin dreams. And I believe Jameis Winston is a dream killer. I do agree with you. Excuse me. New England over Buffalo with that 6.5-point spread. I think that San Fran is going to beat the Rams even with the 6.5 points. I got Cincinnati over Miami. Miami's actually minus a point. I was really surprised by that. Granted, they don't have they don't have their second wide receiver, but Joe Mixon's been running the ball really well. Andy Dalton back at the helm. I think it's going to go well. And then another one we differ, and you're going to think I'm crazy for this one. Tennessee over New Orleans, with New Orleans minus only 2.5 points.
That's not crazy because Tennessee's
crazy.
playing for something.
Yeah, they are playing for something. They want to take that spot away from Houston. Then you got Jets over Pittsburgh, with Pittsburgh getting 3.5. Did you pick Pittsburgh on that one? Mm-hmm. Oh, so I didn't even mark. So now we got three opposite opinions. Dallas over Cleveland. I agree with you there. And then I took Denver over Detroit, with Detroit getting 6.5. Detroit's not playing well. Season's over for them. They're looking to get that as high possible draft pick as possible. I do agree with you, Kansas City over Chicago, even though Chicago's getting 5 points and they've been playing really good football. And then finally, I like Green Bay over Minnesota. Minnesota's actually favored. They're getting minus 4 points. Green Bay wants that playoff spot. Yep. They don't want to get beat by Minnesota, so I think they take it over. And I like Green Bay. So we'll see what happens this week. But I think I got you, son.
Okay,
I got you.
We got a few games different. too. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, we got 4. A few games.
Yeah, about 4 games.
We have 7 games total different. Yeah. 7 total different. Only 3 of the games are the same: the New England game, the Baltimore game, and the Kansas City game. All right. Top 5 games of the week 16. What do you got for me?
I got Houston versus Tampa Bay. What would Houston do? What's up, Houston? What's going on? We need you. We need you in the playoffs. Make it interesting. You're a good team. Rams versus San Fran. San Fran just lost, coming off a loss. What the Rams got to keep playing to stay alive. They got to keep winning. What can happen? Could San Fran go down 2 weeks in a row?
That would be crazy.
Could the Rams step it up? It'd be crazy.
Rams coming off a big. Both teams coming off a loss.
Yeah.
But Rams coming off a big loss.
Falcons versus the Jaguars. I'm gonna change my Sundays to WWFD. What will Falcons do?
Yes.
So therefore, who knows what will Falcons
beating
do?
San Fran and then coming back and losing to Jacksonville.
Oh, that can happen.
Oh, it
can
happen.
Totally happen. Like
the
no
mustache,
question,
baby.
Yeah, no question.
Gardner Minshew and the magic mustache.
Oh, by the way, he's doing too much trying to trademark the mustache and all that. Come on, Gardner, relax there, champ. Prove yourself first. The Patriots versus the Bills.
Oh,
big game.
Still that game for me, huh?
Yeah. Big game, I love when those two teams play versus each other because it's nitty and gritty. Yeah.
There's big implications here.
Yeah, a lot going on in that game. And then Saints versus Titans. Another big game.
Man, that game is going to be incredible. Tannehill is just playing so well right now. Derrick Henry.
There might be fireworks in that game. I think a lot of points will be scored because they're not going to stop New Orleans, and New Orleans ain't going to stop them. It's going to come down to whoever has that football last is going to win that game.
Those are the best, man. When it comes down to whoever has the football last, same thing with like Atlanta and San Fran. Whoever has the football last games are always the best. For me, even it might not be the best game of the week, but it has some pretty fun implications. Baltimore getting their revenge against Cleveland. Cleveland, one of the only 2 teams. Kansas City, Cleveland, only 2 teams to beat Baltimore. Now Baltimore got to come back into this house.
Get back.
And get their game, get that win back. Now, the crazy thing is, Cleveland did beat them. So in some way, maybe Cleveland had their number. Can Cleveland repeat? They just come off a huge loss to Arizona. Yeah, I know. I feel you. I don't think they can do it either. Baltimore's unstoppable, but it would be crazy.
It's not even about Baltimore being unstoppable or anything. It's just Cleveland's just a bad team, man. Every week you look in there, they're like, oh, these dudes are shouting to the sideline saying, come and get me and all this stuff like that. Like, it's crazy.
That's terrible to be Odell and Jarvis Landry.
But like you said,
get me.
You hit it on the head. That coach needs to go.
Yeah, he does need to go.
I think he's going to get fired.
I hope he gets fired.
Kitchens.
Yeah. Kitchens can't cook. I also like the Bengals versus the Dolphins. Bengals only got one win. This is a game that they can actually win.
I think the Bengals is going to win.
I think the Bengals are going to win too. But it still keeps, even with this win, they still maintain that number 1 overall draft pick.
Yeah, but
So I want to see him come in and get one more victory before the season ends.
So with that number 1 draft pick, who do they go for?
They're going after that number. Whoever the number 1 quarterback ends up being, that's the pick. They got to go quarterback. They got to go quarterback, and then the rest of their draft picks need to focus on offensive and defensive linemen. That's all they need. That's all they need this year is to draft your quarterback. Or if you don't want to draft a quarterback, then you need to be trading for a quarterback.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. I'm really liking the Philly-Dallas game because of the implications.
They're going to be bumping.
They got to bump because
Yeah.
whoever wins this game is going into the playoffs, getting that first round bye. Dallas wants it. Dallas needs it. They just got this big victory. I hope they follow it up and get another one. You know I'm a fan of Dallas. Shout out E-Dub.
E-Dub.
So I'm going with Philly-Dallas.
Let's give E-Dub some love on here. Shout out to E-Dub, one of our biggest supporters.
Absolutely. Watching every week. And then another divisional matchup, lots of playoff implications, is Green Bay versus Minnesota. Green Bay right now, they got that first round bye. They're the number 1 team. I think Minnesota can steal it with 2. They get back-to-back wins. Beating Green Bay and winning next week could possibly get them that number 1 overall spot.
Yeah, but I think teams got Green Bay's number now. Like, what they was doing before at the beginning of the season seemed like they was putting up a lot more points.
Mm-hmm.
But now it seemed like they've been declining over the last few weeks.
They had a great game last week. It was a big game.
Yeah.
But you're not wrong in saying that Green Bay has had a lot of tough games.
Yeah.
But they had some tough losses too. They had that big loss against the Chargers, man.
Yep.
That's a game they absolutely should have won. I don't remember who the other losses to because I think they got 3 losses this season, and I don't know who the other 2 are too, but they definitely need to get this win in order to not get their playoff spot stolen by Minnesota. And then finally, what do I want? I think I'm going to go with Arizona versus Seattle. You want to know why? Because what do I say about Kyler Murray?
He's the young Russ.
Exactly. I think Arizona is a poor man's version of the Seattle Seahawks. Kenyon Drake coming off an awesome game. Kyler Murray playing good ball. And a victory for Arizona is inconsequential. It's just a moral victory. A loss for Seattle could drop them back into that wild card position, and a win from San Fran could shoot them up into into the bye week bracket. Yep. So a lot of implications in this game. A lot can happen, and I can't wait to see how it goes. All right, now so next week, just so you guys know, we're not going to be here. That's why you're getting this nice hour-and-a-half long special with the special mics because
special.
Due to the holidays, Christmas and New Year's, we will not be able to film our show. So we're gonna miss. We're definitely gonna miss the last week of the season, and unfortunately, I think we're gonna miss the first week of the playoffs. Maybe we'll try to jump on some.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Maybe make a little live video or something. But we're gonna try to work something out where we could talk about the playoffs before it happens. But we're definitely gonna miss week 17. So with that being said, they don't give you the spreads.
Nope. So we're just doing
2
pick 'em
weeks in advance. So we're just gonna give you a pick 'em, and I'll let you go first. Top 10 picks of the week.
Minnesota over the Bears, Colts over the Jaguars, Philly over the Giants, Green Bay over Detroit, Cowboys over Washington, New Orleans over the Panthers, Ravens over the Pats. No, Ravens over Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. Yeah. The Raiders over the Broncos, the Bills over the Jets, and the Pats over Miami.
All right, I missed a couple of yours, so I don't know how many we got right now.
I'll tell you.
Right now we have 5 in common. We might have more once I'm done talking.
Got you.
Okay, so and actually 6 in common because I didn't check that. So I got Minnesota over Chicago.
Yep.
I got Tampa Bay over Atlanta.
I didn't touch that one.
You didn't touch that one? Oh, so I checked the wrong box. I got New England over Miami.
Okay.
New Orleans over Carolina.
Yeah.
Baltimore over Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Seattle over San Fran. Did you take that
I
one?
didn't touch that one.
I'm going with Seattle. I think I'm going to get back-to-backers. Dallas over Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo over the Jets. I got Tennessee over Houston.
You said Buffalo over the Jets?
Yeah.
I didn't touch that one.
Oh, I thought you
yes,
did
I
touch
did.
that
Yeah,
one. Yeah, you
Buffalo.
did.
I took Buffalo.
Tennessee over Houston to take that playoff spot bye week.
Okay.
And then my what's it called? Wild card game of the week. Cincinnati over Cleveland. I think they win the divisional matchup. I think Cleveland is just being absolutely terrible, and I think Cincinnati takes the victory, especially whatever the point spread's going to be.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the same.
7 of the same. So only 3 games where we could differ.
Yep.
All right. Now let's talk about the 5 best games of the week.
Of that week?
Of that week.
Eagles versus the Giants, the Jets versus the Bills, Cowboys versus Washington, Ravens versus the Steelers, Arizona versus the Rams. Those are my games of the week.
Oh, wait. Say that one more time.
The Jets versus the Bills.
Yep.
Because, that's that New York rivalry. Yep. Cowboys versus Washington, because by then Cowboys going to have to win that game outright.
Yep.
The Ravens over the Steelers to see what the Steelers will do. Ravens might bench their team, and Steelers might have to fight still. And then Arizona over the Rams because Kyler Murray's last game. Stay healthy, kid.
Okay. Cool. I got to go with this Atlanta-Tampa Bay game, man. Atlanta versus Tampa Bay. I think it's just going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I do think it's going to be another one of those games that comes down to who has the ball last. I think it's going to be one of the most fun games to watch of the season. Neither one of these teams are making it to the playoffs, so they're going to play all their guys. They're going to play as hard as they possibly can, and this is for the division. Every game this week is a divisional matchup, so every game has some sort of divisional consequence, and so I think this game is just going to be awesome. Then what else do I have? I think Tennessee-Houston, big implications in this game. Whoever wins this game is definitely gonna get the bye week.
Yep.
And I'm loving Tennessee. Tannehill playing amazing football, so I can't wait to see how that one goes. San Fran versus Seattle. It's a rematch. San Fran salty off that last loss, and once again, the implications of who's gonna get that bye week, I think it gets settled in this game. Cincinnati versus Cleveland, man. I think that Cleveland is on the downward spiral, and even though Cincinnati came off a huge loss to New England, like they just got pummeled, that first half was a dangerous game. Mm-hmm. They were playing great football. They were running the ball exceptionally well. Even though Tyler Boyd was being covered by Stephon Gilmore, he managed to catch 2 passes that game, and they don't have a Stephon Gilmore in Cleveland. So I think this is going to be an exceptionally fun game to watch, and I think that some big things can happen during this game. And then, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. My last game, I think I'm going to go with Indianapolis versus Jacksonville. I love the Magic Mustache. I love Jacoby Brissett. 2 teams that have no stakes in this game other than some bragging rights in the division. And I think that it's going to be an exciting firework type game. I think that T.Y. Hilton might be 100% ready to go by that game as well. And I just can't wait to see what happens in that particular game.
Cool.
All right, we got 9 minutes left, and we got to talk about how this playoff is gonna look. I think I want to go first. So let's do our playoff bracket each, and then we'll talk about who we think is gonna go where. So in the NFC, the 2 wild cards, I got San Fran and Minnesota in the wild card. That was the NFC. In the AFC, I got Buffalo and Houston. The top 4 teams by division: Baltimore, New England, Tennessee, Kansas City. AFC. NFC: Seattle, Dallas, New Orleans, and Green Bay. What do you got?
So I just did it where I took. So I did the top 6 of the AFC. So my top 6 is Baltimore, New England, KC, Houston, Pittsburgh, and whoever can last out of Tennessee, Cleveland, and Oakland.
But Buffalo, you forgetting Buffalo? They're record.
Yeah, Buffalo.
Buffalo's got to be in the wild card because they got a better.
So
record.
after Houston, I would put Buffalo, and then I knock Pittsburgh down to one of the teams that gotta keep winning. Whether it's Pittsburgh, Tennessee, Cleveland, Oakland. Yeah, Pittsburgh, Tennessee, Cleveland, Oakland.
So you didn't do NFC?
NFC, I did Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, Dallas, San Fran, Minnesota.
Okay.
And then the Rams and Phillies both on the bubble. And then so I did it like that one.
Okay, I like it. I didn't do nobody on no bubbles because I don't think anybody on the bubble is gonna have a possibility of making. Pittsburgh's gonna get eliminated up from the playoffs next week. Philly, I think same thing as if Dallas wins, it won't. I think it won't matter because they're gonna have to face Philly. All right, so first round, I got Houston. I think that they put Houston against Kansas City, and I think they put Buffalo against Tennessee. And I got Tennessee beating Buffalo, and I got Kansas City beating Houston. That gives us the 4 of Baltimore, New England, Tennessee, and Kansas City. I think the 4 teams that get the bye week get the victory. On the other side, I think Dallas will have to face Green Bay, and I think New Orleans will have to face Minnesota because I think they want New Orleans and Minnesota to see each other to get that rematch. Mm-hmm. And I think Green Bay and New Orleans both win this game. Excuse me. My bad. Dallas against Green Bay and New Orleans against San Fran. I apologize. I said that wrong. So I think that Green Bay will win. I definitely messed this up somehow because I have Minnesota and San
Fran. It don't matter. It don't matter.
It don't matter. Yeah, it don't matter. Who's your favorites to go to the Super Bowl?
I got Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I got New Orleans.
Baltimore and New Orleans, huh?
And New Orleans winning it all.
Are you ready for some craziness?
New Orleans winning it all.
Here's what I say to your choices. Because I have 2 teams going to the Super Bowl. I have 2 teams
say it
that everybody wants to see in the Super Bowl. I have 2 guys that are going to face each other in the bowl game for the first time ever. It was supposed to happen last year. It was supposed to happen the year before that. And this is going to be the year. Green Bay, New England. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. And you know, when those 2 guys go up against each other, it's going to be magic. The only other possibility is a New England Patriots, New Orleans Saints Super Bowl. That's something I would love to see. The 2 40-plus guys just facing each other for that last ring. I'm biased. I got to get New England. I got to put New England in the Super Bowl. You know what? Their offense has not been playing well, but their defense has been getting the job done. We got 3.5 minutes left. And you know, when we got time on the clock, there's one thing I love to do. You know what I like to do, right?
Hold on. Yeah. Hurry up.
I
got to shoot out.
What do you mean you got to shoot out? You got to finish the show.
Finish.
All right. Week 16 MVPs. Texans versus Buccaneers. Who's the MVP?
Texans versus Bucks. D-Hop. Let's go.
Oh, Winston. Bills versus the Patriots. Who's the MVP?
Brady.
I like it. Rams versus the 49ers. Who's the MVP?
Gurley.
San Fran D. Jaguars versus the Falcons. Who's your MVP?
Matt Ryan.
Yes. Ravens versus the Browns. Who's
Lamar
your,
Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Saints versus the Titans. Who's your MVP?
Drew Brees.
Tannehill. Panthers versus the Colts. Who's your MVP?
Brissett.
Brissett. What do you mean? Christian McCaffrey. CMC, baby. Bengals versus the Dolphins. Who's your MVP?
Andrew Dalton.
Mixon. Steelers versus the Jets. Who's your MVP?
Jets D.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm just gonna go with that. Giants versus the Redskins. Who's your MVP?
Barkley.
I'm gonna go with scary Terry McLaurin. Lions versus the Broncos. MVP.
Nobody. Field goal kickers.
Amen. You know what? I wouldn't even have thought to say that, but amen.
Field goal kickers.
Raiders versus the Chargers. Who's your MVP?
Someone from the Chargers.
Gordon.
Malcolm Gordon.
Yeah. Cowboys versus the Eagles. Who's your MVP?
Zeke.
Prescott. Cardinals versus the Seahawks. Who's your MVP? You know it's Russell.
Russ.
Chiefs versus the Bears. Who's your MVP?
Mahomes.
Okay. Packers versus the Vikings.
Rodgers.
Aaron Jones. All right. So with that being said, there's a minute and a half. We're just gonna let it ride out.
Let it ride out for you guys.
We
man.
hope you like the new mics. We hope that they
Merry
worked
Christmas,
out well.
Happy Holidays.
I hope you like my new flannel. Yeah, with the hoodie. I like it a lot. I'm feeling pretty good about
Our
it.
initial half show was pretty good.
They're a good special. I feel
Yeah.
like we put a lot of content in there.
Yeah.
I feel like it went really well.
Good job, Craig.
Check it out. YouTube, Gym Bag Entertainment, The End Zone. Check out Tell the Tape. This week, there'll be no flex because I ran it into the end zone to give you guys a taste of more. And until next week, you know we'll always see you in the end zone. Have a good night.